America, and especially Gaby Hoffmann. I ran into Gaby Hoffmann at the People Summit. Initially, I thought it was my buddy Leave Leader, not because all white people look the same, because they don't, but because there are some similar looking people in these United States, and these two are they. Find someone who knows both of them, I'm sure I'm right on this score. But no, it was Gaby Hoffmann, not Leave Leader. But once I figured out it was Gaby and not Leave, the unresolved mystery became, why is Gaby Hoffmann looking at me like, I know this Negro? The thing is, I don't look like too many other cats except for maybe Sly Stone or Curtis Mayfield. But would you believe that Gaby Hoffmann knows me from the funky academic videos? And if you're anything like me, you're thinking, no shit. I too was surprised, but then we started talking about the state of political education among Hollywood celebrities, and it turns out that it's a bit wanting. Which makes sense, they didn't get hired because they were political philosophers, they're actors. I can't act. I can read Greek, Latin, and German, and I spend my days thinking about and studying institutions of freedom. I'm not talking about current events, news, or political gossip. I'm talking about the deep work into the structure of freedom and its relation to how we think about goodness and rationality, and how unfreedom can be institutionalized in ways we don't even see because we use concepts without duly investigating them. And we get caught in a network of concepts that are so distorted that it distorts our experience of reality. That's what I do all day. I don't act or work in theater, but then I thought about this scene from Project Greenlight where the producers are talking about hiring practices.
When we're talking about diversity, you do it in the casting of the film, not in the casting of the show.
So Matt Damon doesn't know how freedom in America works. He doesn't know how any of this works. And he's smart. And I suspect he's not the only one. The guys from Twitter, whose CEO is this woke dude, they forgot to hire black people. They're giving out six-figure jobs in Silicon Valley, and they just forgot. I can't expect Matt Damon to know how structural racism works in the culture industry. He doesn't even know how art works.
But ultimately, if suddenly you change the rules of this competition at the 11th hour, it just seems like you would undermine what the competition was supposed to be about, which is about giving somebody this job based entirely on merit and leaving all other factors out of it. It's just strictly a filmmaking competition.
He doesn't know that competitions, especially competitions about art, are always competitions relative to the judge's experience of everyday reality. And John's film does its job by giving the lie and negating Damon's experience of everyday life. At the very least, by watching John's film, because John is a good director, Damon is made aware of an oppression that has always been there, but the trick and the craft of the filmmaker is to transfigure Damon's experience of reality into the medium of film, which is hard for myriad reasons and is always going to be pitched in a way that's culturally specific. And then show how this reality may not be what we thought it was prior to the movie, which is disturbing, but at least this new reality is fragile in a way that allows for emancipatory potential through our awareness, which, you know, is something. So that's what good movies do. They give us the lie to our life. I suspect that Matt Damon doesn't know that this play of negation is what separates good art from bad art. But I don't know how to act, and I don't know how to make a movie. That's not my craft, man. I just know what art and modernity does because that's aesthetic theory, and that is my bag. I've read enough Heidegger and Hegel and Adorno, and I know things about art and freedom. And politically, I've read enough Aristotle and Foucault. I can talk about freedom, institutions, and alienation. And I want to be able to do my thing for celebrities because celebrities can either aid or screw up our political discourse. And that means aiding or screwing up our life. Gaby, work with me to run a celebrity left political boot camp. It wouldn't be on news. It would be one weekend of political philosophy. It could go a few ways. We can even spend some time talking about the politics that govern the worlds of your characters. And this might help people when they do their media junkets. For example, your TV dad was a mediocre parent who could have gotten by without doing too much damage to his kids. He could have gotten by on his credentials and his money and his whiteness, if not for being trans in a transphobic society, which was just enough to turn his mediocre parenting into a variety of awful parenting that took away his daughter's God and bat mitzvah. Or we could talk about how the bout of tired, drunken theorizing around the campfire about your TV dad's place in the women's camp was actually not so bad philosophy. Whoever wrote that was like, you already have dialect coaches and personal trainers and dietitians, and that's great for your craft, but you also end up giving commencement speeches, and people actually listen to you. They expect you to know things about freedom and dignity and life, and it would be good for the world if your class had a set of arguments about justice in your heads, especially from the left, instead of devolving into cliches or poetry. So your class of actors needs a little bit of help from the left, and honestly, the American left needs a bit better help from celebrities, because there are consequences when celebrity activists lapse into cliche and go forward with anything less than our best wisdom. There's a way in which liberal celebrities are part of the problem. For example, celebrity fundraisers are no substitute for good government. If you are approached to host a fundraiser in Flint, a bell should go off in your mind that the water crisis in Flint is a political problem that can't be fixed by private donations or a $500,000 grant from the Clinton Foundation. Flint needs emergency legislation, and that's what you should be advocating for. And if it'd be great if celebrities helped organize and told people that they should demand that their congressman vote for this emergency legislation or tell the nation to throw those congressmen out. That's what a political solution to a political problem looks like. So Gaby, and anyone else playing at home, here's what I propose. A 2-day celebrity boot camp in political philosophy. I can gather 3 or 4 of my friends who study justice in political institutions, and they're smart but aren't so detached that they can't speak to regular people. We'll go over all of the right isms and climate change. We'll go over why it's important that the Best Actor winners thank the network of childcare providers, because it's the nannies as much as the producers and directors who make Hollywood viable. The team I can put together for a weekend workshop will be cool, smart, and appropriately hard-ass. We need you to be able to speak well about public goods and rights in a nation that wants to privatize public goods and turn rights into privileges. We'll give you the arguments to do it, because the media war is the war, and let us help you suit up. You are part of the better left the nation is building, so anyone who knows her, email this video to Hoffman, and if any of you internet cats feel like stealing the idea and cutting me out, I can't stop you. But that's a bit déclassé and most probably indicative of all manners of racial injustice. And honestly, you think you'll be able to pull this together with the right mix of philosophers to make these arguments? If it were that easy, grown-ass Matt Damon, son of a public school teacher, would not say things like,
When we're talking about diversity, you do it in the casting of the film, not in the casting of the show.
whew. And Patricia Arquette, who in many ways is incredible, still found a way to alienate women of color. These are not bad people, they just haven't been through the political philosophy for celebrities boot camp that we're gonna cook up. I didn't get your contact information when I saw you because, well, why would I get your contact info? But hit me up. It's irony@thefunkyacademic.com. Let's make this happen. Peace.